For my first trip into the SRW verse, I decided to go for the SRWOG series. I start the game by choosing Ryusei's aim because the SRX looks like 6 and I'm a very immature person. The game starts by showing a cutscene of what is definitely not the Death Star copyright Disney. We are then introduced to two shadowy figures, who I'm sure will both have incredible plot relevance later. We're then thrown into a prologue where we're introduced to Daitatu Minase, this game's primary no-nonsense, experienced captain, Sean, his executive officer, and Elza, whose poshness puts him 2 political marriages away from being a sovereign in a European country. We're invaded by space bugs, and Elza decides to take him out, all by himself, without any weapons, because his fist is all that he needs. Goddamn. I used Excel turn 1 and spam focus for the rest of the fight, putting Elzam in the middle of the bugs and have them running to him to die to the counterattack. Since this is only chapter 1, the enemies aren't hard enough to pose any kind of threat, and we kill them before turn 4, earning me the bonus mission point. Nice. The story then shifts to Akihabara to focus on the main protagonist of the game, Ryusei, who's a gamer. Ryusei apparently is really good at a free-to-play game called Burning PT, but unlike real-life free-to-play games where loot boxes and microtransactions makes money, Burning PT developers found a more lucrative business model. That's right, they're collecting your medical and government info and selling it on the dark web. Holy shit, is that even legal? And obviously Ryusei's childhood friend Kuzuha don't get any of that because she's a girl, and girls can't be gamers. We're then introduced to Ryusei's mom, who has a mysterious illness and is bedridden. Totally not plot related, I'm sure. As Ryusei loses a Burning PT tournament, we're introduced to Tenzan Nakajima, the LTG of the SRW universe. Not until the venue is invaded by space bugs, the same sort we fought in chapter 1. Ryusei then finds a Gespenst mech just lying in the middle of the road inconspicuously. So the obvious thing to do as a civilian is for him to commandeer the mech with no training. Oh, this is gonna end well. I mean, it's just like video game, right guys? Whoops, I accidentally left my mech unguarded. Would be a shame if someone were to hop in it. This is the second chapter of the game, and similar to the first, all we need to do is focus and slap ourselves in the middle of every robo-insect group, and have them throw themselves at us, allowing us to clear in 2 turns to get the mission point. After the mission, Ryusei is kidnapped by Ingram Pliskin, whom looks suspiciously similar to the guy in the prologue. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Ingram explained to Ryusei that for piloting the totally unguarded mech that Ingram purposely left there, Ryusei is breaking the law and can face dire consequences, and the only way for Ryusei to get out of this is for him to join Ingram's unit. Dig me bro, and also, what the fuck? Ryusei agrees, I mean, he don't really have a choice, and thus starts chapter 3, where Ryusei is joined by Aya piloting the Gespenst Mark II Type 2T, a bad early game support unit with a bad mech, and Raides piloting the Shoots mode, a decent early game sniper with a good early game mech with long range weapons that falls off later in the game. Also, I'm totally not gonna make fun of Rai's name. Ride these nuts! Ha! Got it! I use Rai to snipe some units from afar and focus Ryusei to tank the rest. The enemy goes down fairly easily, and we clear chapter 3 without much of a hitch. We're then more or less immediately thrown into chapter 4, where LTG returns. We're tasked to protect Ermgard, who's a philanderer from space. We make a beeline to Tenzan and kill him very quickly, which forced the chapter to end, losing us precious EXP and money.
Your purpose in life is to be in my stream.
After the mission, we learn that the brought the Wild Raptor with him to Earth, and that the Tesla Reich Institute, led by Dr. Bian Zodak, Jeff Muskberg, are developing personal trooper-like mechs, perhaps to replace all the Amazon workers because mechs don't need pee bottles.